Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, good morning and welcome into a Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. Hope you guys had a great weekend, as I did. My birthday weekend was a tremendous success. My birthday 3-day weekend was a tremendous success. So hope you guys had a great weekend as well. The Rays did. Rays had a pretty good weekend. Could have been great with a win yesterday, but couldn't get it. But we'll talk some Rays baseball on the field. We'll talk some Rays baseball off the field. And we'll give you a little Buccaneers training camp preview. The Bucs training camp starts on Wednesday. And special programming note, during the entire training camp, we will be going noon to 2 instead of 10 to 12. So note that in all of your schedules, please, so we can give you full coverage, immediate full coverage of what happened at Bucs camp. How do you like that, Tim Ham?
I love those hours.
DFW affiliate. Yeah, I know you do. You absolutely love those hours. So
I love those hours.
Yeah. So we will we'll be going to training camp, watching all the festivities, getting interviews afterwards, and bringing all of that to you in a very timely manner right after it happens. So for your first and most immediate reaction to training camp, you'll be able to get it live from us from noon to 2. How do you guys like that? Put that in the comments. Is that what you're looking forward to? Is that good? Or you don't like the change for times? This is going to screw everybody up. I think it'll be better, though. I think it'll be better. Because we can do that. That's one of the great things about being a live stream podcast without the constraints of corporate media and all that BS. We say, what's best for the people? What's best? We're going to change our time and just make it more impactful, I think is a good word for that. Mm-hmm. Immediate. And what's bigger than Bucs right now? I mean, the Rays are the Rays. I get it. But the Bucs are they capture the market. It's going to be a very, very highly anticipated season. I just saw Mike T on Get Up this morning picking the Bucs to go to the NFC Championship game, which is I concur. I'm saying NFC Championship game or bust. Anything less will be somewhat of a failure, in my opinion, with this roster. So away we go. Away we go. How you doing, Timmy?
Doing well after a long, arduous weekend of sports, JP. Had a little bit of sports overload this weekend. Did a birthday party out at the Star on Saturday night from about 6 p.m. till about 6 a.m. Not going to lie. It was a celebrating a fine young woman that I happen to know, her dirty 30.
Oh, nice. Very
we were
nice.
Out there at this place called Sidecar Social. Don't know if you have those over there. In
Sidecar Social. No.
It's a massive, massive club that you think you're in a freaking football stadium, but it's sectioned off, different rooms, different bars, huge TVs. We were watching the fight, the UFC fight initially is why we went. And then I guess they had boxing on too. I guess what's his face came out of retirement again. Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao was fighting?
He was fighting Saturday night. Yeah. So they had both
the 70?
The Pacquiao fight and then the UFC fight on with Daniel Cormier. And it was a good time, dude. But I'm telling you, I've come to the realization, because this is basically a club. Right. I felt like I was up in the club. As the kids say. I am too old for clubbing anymore because, dude, this place was so packed.
Yeah.
Nut to butt, JP, is what we say. Walking
so
around.
Big as a football stadium, nut to butt. No, thank you.
No, dude, it was. Look, I'm the older I get, the more I hate crowds. Yeah. I hate going to concerts anymore. I don't even like going to live. To sporting events unless I'm in the press box and all comfortable, right.
Yes.
Dude, this was, I pay for my $12 vodka press, first of all, and I had to wait 30 minutes to order it. By the time I'm done drinking it, I'm back at the table because it took me that long to get to where we were sitting, and it's empty again. So now I got to walk all the way. I was getting drinks for the girl whose birthday it was, and I was getting birthday shots. Dude, the whole night was going back and forth getting drinks. So I finally found a waitress. I'm like, can you please start a tab? Because I'm really sick of going to the bar every 40 minutes and taking that long. She goes, of course. Well, that didn't help because it took her just as long to bring drinks to us. But anyway, it was a good birthday weekend. It was a good sports weekend. We had some WNBA. We had the British Open. And JP, I know we're going to talk British Open in a little bit.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
This is difficult for me to say. Look, I'm going to have an unpopular WNBA opinion for myself, and I'm going to have an unpopular British Open opinion because I now know why we should not call it the British Open.
Oh, Jesus, why?
Well, no, we'll get into it. That's called a tease, JP.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I figured it out. We're wrong in saying it. As much as I probably will still say it, it is tremendously incorrect to call it the British Open. Paul Stewart, just so you know. Coming on board, Paul.
So you're coming on. Okay. All right. Well, there's
I'm still going to call it that, but it's incorrect.
There's a lot to tease there. Yeah. All right. So let's begin with a little Rays baseball. Took 2 of 3 from the Orioles this weekend, a smashing 11-1 win on Friday. Then a Chandler Simpson orchestrated comeback win on Saturday, where he knocks it tough at bat, knocks in the tying run, steals second base, then comes home, infield in, chopper that the first baseman fields on the grass. That's an out every single time, except when Chandler Simpson's running and the first baseman has to hurry the throw, and that gets by the catcher, and then the winning run comes in to score. I mean, Chandler Simpson, we said it from the very get-go. Why the hell they ever sent this guy down made absolutely zero sense. They still continue to try to protect Morel, and every time that guy starts, we lose. That's pretty the charity start. I mean, I know his numbers have been better, but you're taking somebody else out of the lineup that usually hits better, and he doesn't do much. So it's infuriating. At some point, they just got to bite the bullet and get rid of the guy. And hopefully that'll come soon with a deadline deal that brings in a power hitting outfielder, and Morel will be gone. That'll be fun to watch, hopefully soon. Now, whether these guys are buyers or sellers is going to depend on how this team plays in the next week or so. We got, 11 days to the deadline, 10 days to the deadline. They've got 3 with the White Sox coming in here at home. Got to sweep them. Got to sweep the White Sox here at home. Minimum 2 out of 3. You lose this series, and then we might be talking about being a seller, because then you're on the road at the Reds, who are playing well, and at the Yankees, who you got to, and then you're home against the Dodgers, who really have been scuffling, especially against the Brewers. And then you go out on a 12-game West Coast swing, Mariners, A's, Giants, and Angels. So this next week is going to be big as to whether they're going to be buyers or sellers. And I hope they're buyers, and I think the new ownership group wants them to be buyers, but not if it's, if they go out and lose 3 to the White Sox or lose 2 of 3 to the White Sox. I think you really, really have to kind of look at your team and see what you got here. Is the bullpen going to be good enough down the stretch? If we do add something, what do we have to give up? I mean, there's a lot of machinations here, but one thing that I do think is a positive, that if indeed, and I don't know this for a fact, but if indeed that, and we talked about this last week, if this new ownership group is going to have some say in payroll, and they should, and they're going to up the payroll, that's going to happen, then I think there's an opportunity here to make this team better. Now, I do think the bullpen is still a question mark. I think starting pitching is fantastic. You add one more bat in the outfield, I think this team is a contender. I do think this team is a contender. Now, we keep talking about Shane McClanahan coming back. That outing this weekend was not great.
Yeah. 27
pitches, 2 outs, gives up 2 home runs, velocity down 2 to 3 miles per hour. That's not what you want to see. It's not the end all be all. It's, this is going to be a process coming back, but it's not good. So whereas I thought maybe we could count on Shane McClanahan right now I'm like, it's probably more 50-50, maybe 40-60 than we actually thought. So that's I haven't seen a whole lot that's encouraging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and until we see some encouraging signs, I don't think we could really be counting on Shane McClanahan coming back to make a difference, make a real positive difference. So I think that's part of it. As for this weekend, I mentioned that the 11 junior comes back from the All-Star game and home run derby and hits 2 home runs. That was, to me, I was like, oh, thank God. And he looked good. He didn't look like it, that took a lot out of him this weekend. So maybe it just gave him a little bit more confidence. So that's good. It's not like every person that goes to the home run derby gets screwed up. It's happened before. It kind of happened to Randy Arozarena, but it looks, and everybody's different, right? And Junior's swing is so effortless. It didn't look like he was pushing himself beyond some, max level that's going to affect him the rest of the way. So I think he came through it really, really well. And obviously the 2 home runs first game back shows he should be okay. And yesterday he had a chance. I thought that was going to be the storybook ending. Bases are loaded, walk it off to sweep the Orioles. They come back in the ninth after the 2.5-hour rain delay. They load the bases for Junior, and he strikes out on it. Probably had a ball 4. I think not probably, definitely had a ball 4. If we were doing the automatic umpires, we tapped the hat right there like we did in the All-Star game. Challenge that 3-0 call. That's a walk, bases loaded walk. So now we're 1 run down. The tying runs on third. Batista can't find the plate. He's already walked 3 batters. That's a whole different deal going on there. So that's this is how one pitch call can totally change the complexion of a game. And the umpire blew it. That was a ball. That was ball 4. Ain't no question about it. And if they challenged it, it would have been a ball 4. And that game, I'm not saying it definitely changes the outcome of the game, but as I said, that's a whole different position to put Batista in. So anyway, they lose that game, but the Chandler Simpson game Saturday night was phenomenal, even though Fairbanks tried to give that one back as well. Not good. He's been struggling, and I think the bullpen is a big question mark. And when they look at being buyers or sellers, they have to ask themselves, can Kyle Snyder get these guys back in line? I think he can. History tells us, that he can. He'll find a way to get these guys back in line, but it's a question mark. There's no question about that. Bilal gets hurt this weekend, plantar fasciitis. They're coming back from the oblique. Plantar fasciitis is no joke. He's had this before, and it's knocked him out for a long, long time. And, you get a flare-up of that, it doesn't usually go away, like, the next day. That's not like a oops. It's that could be I'm worried about that. That is a very, very tough injury to get rid of. So that's now if Bilal hurt, the bullpen is struggling, and you lose 2 or 3 to the White Sox, everything changes in terms of buying and selling. Would you agree?
100%.
Yeah.
And by the way, JP, the Rays made history last night. I'm not sure that you're aware of this.
How so?
It was the longest home rain delay in Rays history. Yeah. 2 hours, 36 minutes, right before the 7th, right? I wasn't watching the whole game.
Yeah,
but
6th and 7th, yeah. I was actually watching it on the car ride home. I wasn't driving, as far as you know. So I was watching it, and it's like, oh, rain delay, damn. But they, and look, that's the first extended rain delay of the season. We're at July 21st. Have not had a rain out. So I think it's worked out pretty well. I think it's worked for all the doomsayers that were like, oh, every game's going to be. And it was hot yesterday. Yeah. Felt like 105, 93 degrees, the humidity 105. Not pleasant. These day games are just brutal. I don't know. I understand why they play. Well, I don't know. I guess it was a getaway game for the road team, for the Orioles. But, yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. This night games are – I don't know how many more day games they have, but it's too many. It's too many.
Baltimore had to go to Cleveland, right? So they're playing at Cleveland, and it's a early game in Cleveland today too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like at 5:30 or something.
So, listen, all in all, I thought it was a good weekend for the Rays. Get 2 or 3, almost get the sweep. Now you got the White Sox coming in. Got to bear down and just, take 2 or 3, hopefully a sweep, and now you're what? Then you'll be, if you sweep them, you're 7 games over 500, going out on the road, and you got the Reds, which they're playing better baseball, and then you got the Yankees. So it's going to be look, a lot more road games coming up. They've played very well on the road. I'm not worried about that, but it's just a matter of stamina and keeping it going.
So you're now though you're 6.5 games in back of Toronto for the division. You're also now out of the wild card by a game and a half, and you just won. I know you didn't. I mean, you had a great first game of the series. What was it, 11-1 offensively? Yeah. But you win 2 out of 3 to a division rival. Granted, they're the worst team in the division, but you still have to win those games. All hope is not lost. I still like the pitching on this team, and I still like the offense when Chandler's in the lineup. But I still think you got to keep Chandler in the lineup. He's got to play the rest of the year because I think he's a huge catalyst for offense with this team.
Now, he played against the lefty yesterday, and his 18-game hitting streak came to a close. But I know at least a couple at-bats. He got Goodwood. So, I still keep him in there against lefties. I think he's just too disruptive at the top, and he needs to learn how to hit against lefties, and he will. He's a good contact hitter, but he needs to learn how to hit against lefties. So don't take him out and stun his growth. Just let him go.
And if he'll be fine. If he's going to slump, let him slump. He's got to learn how to get himself out of those things. He's got to learn how to hit against lefties.
We've seen no sign of that. I mean, he's hit against lefties. He's hit against righties. He's hit 400 over. I mean, the dude's been phenomenal. Yeah. He's been phenomenal.
If it's going to happen, and it's going to happen, you can't send him down. You just got to let him work through it, just like any other player. He's a major league player now. Just let him work through 100%. It like any other guy would. Just let him learn the game.
All right, I'll get to some comments here to hit the Rays. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. For all intents and purposes, football season is here again. You are right, Kenneth McClary. I think the rookies are reporting today. Yes. So. Rick says JP late again. Well, at his age, probably in the bathroom again. You're not wrong, Rick. You are not wrong. So you know what? I made a mistake last night. I haven't eaten McDonald's in forever, and one of the kids, they didn't make it plain, had the onions on it, So there's a brand new hot double cheeseburger sitting right there for me. And I'm like, kind of hungry. It smells good. I used to love double cheeseburgers from McDonald's until whatever they put in the meat now, I don't know what the hell's going on. But anyway, so I said, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt, right? Just one double cheeseburger. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Within minutes, the pain in my gut. Holy hell. Didn't they used to say 100% beef? Remember that?
Did it have arsenic in it?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Someone tried to off you?
Did McDonald's used to brag about 100% beef? They don't do that anymore, right?
There's no way.
There's no way. I don't know what the hell they did. But, man. So I used to love double cheeseburgers. They were, the extra cheese, everything. Not that it's real cheese, but man, whatever
the problem, they got rid of the pink slime. Remember the pink slime scandal a few years ago?
Yeah, the nuggets. The nuggets were pink slime,
and the beef. I mean, it was in the beef, and then they allegedly got rid of all of that. And I think their hamburgers suck now. Maybe the pink slime was the flavor key that we all knew, but I don't know. I hate McDonald's now. I can't stand it.
That was a huge mistake.
I ate at Burger King yesterday, though, for the first time in like 6 months.
I've always liked Burger King.
Me too. I love Burger King.
The flame grill burgers, absolutely.
I just don't have one near my house, and I was driving the kids back, drop them off with Mom, and there's one over there where the drop-off point is, and the kids were like, Dad, can we get Burger King? And I'm like, yeah, man, I can do a 79-cent hamburger, right? Their 79-cent hamburgers are $1.99 now.
Well, even the double cheeseburger, which I love their double cheeseburger, flame grilled, like really good, just ketchup, onions, boom, perfect. Now it's like a slider. And it's $3.99. It's half the size of what it used to be, and it's like fast food is just really gone downhill. Mm-hmm. Chick-fil-A,
By the way, the other Friday or Thursday after the show here, I did stop at Chick-fil-A on the way home because we were talking about it on the show. So they should be a sponsor.
Fantastic. Yes, they're fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. All right. So as far as the Bucs off the field, we did a lot of this last week. We're not going to go, the Rays off the field. We're not going to go too much into it, but and not a lot of updates this weekend except for just Rob Manfred, coming on and saying that basically with Zalewski sitting in his suite for the All-Star game, I think we can say this deal has been consummated, right? As we reported many, many months ago. And I know that it was news to the Times that Hillsborough County is where they're focused, as we told you that 3 months ago. And the sites that they mentioned in their piece this weekend, the HCC site I know is something that has come up recently. I don't see the Bucs getting on board with that. I don't think the Bucs want the Rays anywhere near them. So I don't think that site's good. Fairgrounds will take the city out of any type of infrastructure or any type of addition to funding, which I think is a bad idea. So I think it pretty much centers around Ybor City, and maybe the dog track site is an outside. There's going to have to be a lot of massaging of that site because I think it's too far from the urban core. So to me, it just seems like the sites in Ybor are the ones that I think are definitely the leaders in the clubhouse, as Ken Hagan said, and I fully expect to get most of this done. Now, over the weekend I did have some conversations with some people in local government. Ken Hagan, Joe Citro, who's been a longtime city councilman, and some other folks. And there's been some councilmen that have come up and already start talking about this has to be a really good deal for the taxpayers and blah blah blah. You're going to see a lot of this grandstanding from politicians because this is their moment to get out in front of the cameras and say how much they're protecting the taxpayers and all that. And I get that. It's all part of the process. So are there going to be some issues with certain commissioners and voting? We'll see. As Ken Hagan said, the devil's in the details, and the deal has to be right. What we do know is this group will spend up to 60% of their own money to fund the stadium. And there's also plenty of opportunity for special taxing districts, SITS money, which I know there's a little bit of question mark on whether the SITS can be used for the stadium. Again, the devil's in the details. Definitely can be used for infrastructure. I think it depends on the deal. If it can be used for the actual stadium, I think that's the best way to put it. But if it comes down to do we need the money for the stadium and sit stacks, they'll make it happen. They'll make it happen. So it is allowable, but there are some language in that it's not preferable. So, but I think in the end, if it's needed to make the deal work, it will happen. Just put it that way. So in the end, I think it's definitely part of it. So, yeah, all in all, I think everything is progressing great, and we'll see what happens at the deadline. And, we talked about Fred Ridley and Dan Doyle being part of this. I know there's been some thoughts from outsiders. Oh, this group doesn't have enough money to get this done. They do. And if they need more money, it's not going to be a problem. Fred Ridley can pick up the phone and call, and Dan Doyle can, and Zalewski. All of these guys, they have they're very well connected politically, and in the billionaires' suites, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. So, and I think, and more than that, you're just going to have an ownership group that's not intent on taking $150 million out of the team every year and not using it towards the team, which is basically what's been happening. And when you have over $350 million a year in revenue, or between 300 and 350, which is what Stu's been dealing with, and you have an $80 million payroll, you guys can do the math. And that money's going to be put back into the team, back into the stadium, back into the Rays. These aren't guys that are here to pad their pockets on a baseball team like Stu was. And that's the difference. Yeah. Plus, they have the best interest of the community in mind. Look, they're not here to lose tens of millions of dollars. That's not the idea. But they're also not here to line their pockets at the expense of the fans. So that's a major difference. It's a major difference. And yes, teams are worth, when you have that much money coming in a year, $300 to $350 million, and revenues are only going up in baseball. And especially if you have a new stadium, that's going to have a lot more premium seating. Like we tell you all the time with the Braves, they upped their local revenues $134 million in their first year because of premium seating in the Battery. And that's what presumably can happen with the Rays as well. So it's all good. It's all positive, and I think it's going to be tremendous for the Rays. All right, let's move on. Let me get to some more comments here. Rick says Mark Topkin is still on Stu's payroll until September. I don't know. Well, I know the new group's not going to be paying. He's not getting paid by Stu. I know what you mean, though, Rick. Unless you ask Lotfula, he might disagree. He definitely thinks Romano is on the payroll.
Mm-hmm.
My Mark Halliday, I have my glasses on this morning. You know I'm getting old, Rick. Because I agree, Rick. I hope this new ownership, they give other outlets access to the team. Well, there just aren't a lot of other outlets that cover the team on a daily basis. You know, there used to be 2 newspapers, right? But that's one of the problems. Even though we have more podcasts, but like a lot of us don't get access to the team and the players for interesting reasons. Michael LaRue says, will Godwin or Wirfs start on the PUP list? Should they? I think that remains to be seen, and we don't have to know right now. Wirfs' injury is still a bit of a mystery. We'll get more answers, I think, as we get to training camp on Wednesday. And I think obviously there was a setback in Wirfs' injury. Tristan Wirfs put out a video. I think it was just on his Instagram, like, summer stuff, like a summer dump of stuff that he's done. And one of the in there was him squatting like 400. I couldn't count all the plates. I think it was 6 on both sides. So it was squatting 400 pounds or something. And I'm like, yeah, as we told you, the setback from the injury could have happened in a workout. And you just don't know. What I do know is they know a lot more about it than we do. And I'm not going to make assumptions that people screwed up with the time of when the surgery happened or should have happened.
Yeah.
Or, these things aren't black and white. It's very much gray area. But I'm going to trust the medical staff that's been pretty good with this stuff. And I'm also not going to blow them up the fact that, they let Justin School get away for $2 million. I don't believe that. I don't believe that one bit. I think they felt like they can upgrade with Charlie Heck, and maybe they did. And let's give, yes, did Schooley play well? Yeah, maybe that's because Pacucci and Carberry and Liam Cohen did a great job of coaching around the injury. Same thing they can do with Charlie Heck, especially given, 6 weeks run up to the first few games. And we don't know, if Wirfs is going to be out on the PUP list. We don't know if he could be ready for the first part. We don't know how he's going to react to surgery and how he's going to react to the rehab. It could, knowing him, the freaking superhero that he is, he could be ready week 1. It's just reports right now. It's just reports that say he's going to be on the PUP list. He hasn't been put on the PUP list yet. We don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. I think and same thing with Godwin. We don't know. And this is all, there's not a manual that says, okay, this injury comes back on this day, black and white. No, it's very gray area. How do they react to treatment? How serious was the injury? We don't know any of this. Definitively. We just know that it's taken Godwin longer than we thought for him to get back. We know that Wirfs had some surgery and they found some other stuff that needed to be taken care of. How severe it is, we don't know. We don't know. And so I'm not going to freak out about both of these guys not starting the season. And if they don't, I think the Bucs have done a great job of getting some depth there. They draft Ibuka, and they feel like Heck can do the job. And I'm guessing they're probably going to sign maybe another veteran tackle. I think that would be wise. So
even if it's just his depth behind Heck and everybody. Yeah.
So, it's one player. It's a very good player, obviously, in Tristan Wirfs. Does it affect the way you do things? Absolutely. That's just why you have other players on the offensive line. This is why you have coaches that will get guys prepared to work around these injuries. And don't forget, you got a lot of different weapons on this team that you can use to if you're going to go quick game because you won't have time to go down the field. You've got a lot of good players to do that with. Rashad White, Bucky Irving, Ibuka. Mike Evans, all that. You've got a lot of you got a good stable of tight ends. It ain't the end of the world. So I think whether they start on the PUP list or not, Michael, we don't know, and nobody knows. Nobody knows. If they tell you they know, they don't know. But we'll see what happens. Douglas Batista says, I responded to Topkins' ex about the attendance. What's his point? Trying to blast fan base, doesn't mention pissing off season ticket holders with 30 times ticket increase, 30% ticket increase, and raise tickets yesterday on the website for $125. I did not see his post, so I'll go back in the break and check it out, Douglas, and your response to it. But look, I think the fans have done a great job of filling the stadium. And let's remember, even though the official attendance was never less than, I think, 9,500 at the Trop, that counted all season ticket sales as well, which was in a 30,000 seat stadium, by the way. So I think the Rays have done a tremendous job, and I think the fan base has done a tremendous job of going to these games. These day games are not going to sell out. They're just not. People aren't used to it. Even in other places, you look around this summer, stadiums are far from filled because it's so freaking hot everywhere. So I think when you look at the total and how many sellouts that we've had, I think they've reacted pretty well. And hopefully as we get down further, there won't be as many day games. So all right, let's take our first break. We'll come back on the other side, get some more comments. We got Scottie Scheffler to talk about. I got some breaking news too. I have breaking news.
Oh,
so you'll be interested in this. And there's been a lot of press inquiries about this break, but we're going to break it because that's what we do. Yes, absolutely. And we're going to have our Buccaneers offensive preview for training camp, go position by position, look at some of the depth as well. So we'll do that for you today on today's show. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. Go to the website, contact them through there, and get a free case evaluation. Jeeves Law Group. And OnSiteConstructionFL.com. On-site construction, restoration, and construction. They are fantastic at adding on to your home, doing restoration work at your home, or starting from scratch. Anything you need in the construction in commercial or residential, On-site construction, FL.com are the folks. Back in 3. Stay with us.
Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine & DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine & DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine & DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine & DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here. The revenge of the double cheeseburger continues in the break. Wow. Stay away, my friends. Stay away. There's some breaking news coming up about food here in just a second. James Rollerson chimes in and says, our food is messed up. Maha. No one should be opposed to better food and no chemicals. How is it that the government finally, now the FDA is supposed to regulate all this stuff, but yet we allow all this crap into our food supply that most other countries do not.
Yeah.
And RFK Jr. comes up and says, no more artificial dyes, no more this, no more that. The food companies go, okay, no problem. Then what were you doing it in the first place?
Yeah, so I don't know if you've ever seen these comparisons of ingredients in Europe and in America. Like for things as simple as ketchup. Heinz ketchup, right?
Right.
The European version has 4 ingredients, and that's it. If you look at the bottle, the ingredients list on a Heinz ketchup that's meant to go to Europe, there's 4 ingredients. If you look at the one that's sold in America, there's 30 ingredients, and they're all preservatives and dyes and crap. So I've never understood why America allows that, but Europe doesn't. Europe, whatever country it is in Europe, regulates all that way better than we do here. And I've never understood that.
Big food, big pharma. They run everything now. Big tech. That's the way it is. So I was perusing Topkins' tweet about the attendance. 90% of it negative. And Douglas's tweet said, Mark, what's your point? You're criticizing fans. Yes, tickets on the secondary market today were cheap, but if you went to the Rays website to buy seats this morning, they have blocks of seats $100 plus. I'm a season ticket member. Increased prices by 30% to their most loyal fans. Greedy. 100% right. I mean, they did put in 9,000 fans. 91-95 was the announced attendance. Ninth time in 56 home games, they didn't sell out Steinbrenner Field. So ninth time in 56 games, it's pretty good, considering that so many times Tropicana Field, there would be 3,000 or 4,000 for Minnesota or some of these other teams. And I would hasten to say every night game has been sold out. Only the day games have not been. And Friday night was packed, absolutely packed, standing room only. So I think the fans have done well. Again, in not supporting an owner they just don't like. So let's turn all that around and see what happens.
By the way, JP, what do you think of this right here?
Oh, that's lovely. What is that? That's lovely. It's a tumbler.
Like that. That's our
the
tumbler.
FanStream Sports tumbler, yes.
The sliding lid on top to close it and seal it.
So I get rid of this Rays one?
Hot or cold beverages?
The Starburst.
I got coffee in it today. Yesterday I had vodka and soda in it. Stainless steel.
So it works for both. Wow.
Works for both. Great. So you guys, if you want one of these, they're coming soon. Coming soon. Go to the merch. The merch on the fanstreamsports.com. Yep.
Douglas Batista also said 6 of the Tampa Bay Times, always a step behind. No credit given to JP for Rays sale reporting along with stadium reporting. Yeah, 0. Now, Jim Williams, on the other hand, a 7-time Emmy Award-winning broadcaster, long 35 years at ESPN, NBC, one of the giants in the business, now does a national column for Forbes and a bunch of other places. He did a column on the Rays sale the other day, and he was very generous to mention me and our reporting, that we had first reported many of those things. So that's what established outside longtime journalists will do. Other folks that may have an axe to grind will not, but that's okay. That's fine. Jim sent me, by the way, a really, really nice, he got down on my DMs, Jim did. And he sent me a really nice personal message about he listens to the show a lot. And we've done a great job on the sale reporting, stadium reporting. So he was very generous. And we're going to have a nice chat this week. And hopefully we'll have him on the show to talk a little national stuff. Great dude, 50 years in the business, highly respected. Love that guy. So
JP, a little bit of breaking football politics news as I'm watching on one of my 72 TVs here in the studio.
Yes.
President Trump threatens stadium deal over commander's name. Quote, I may put a restriction on them that if they don't change the name back to the original Washington Redskins, I won't make a deal for them for a new stadium. End quote.
Is that Trump saying that?
Yeah. Can he do that? I don't think the president has anything to do with local politics in the District of Columbia, right?
I don't think so. Obviously, he's a very powerful man.
I love the sentiment. I love it. I agree with it. I'm just not sure he could do that.
Well, I don't. You know what? I love the fact that he's, promoting it. I think it should go back to the Redskins. Well, why does there have to be a threat attached to it?
I know, right?
Come on, dog. You don't need to do that.
Threatening restrictions. What restrictions? Tax? Yeah. You're going to take away their tax breaks or something? I don't know how that works, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
and I love it.
I haven't seen the actual context, and he may be just needling them to do it,
right?
And because Trump will do that a lot just to get a reaction.
Yeah.
But I don't. Again, it's not. You don't need to threaten everybody. It's come on, man.
He's going to put tariffs on the Commanders.
Yeah, tariffs on the NFL. Yeah.
I thought that was funny, though. I love it. I'm just not sure that he can actually do that.
Yeah. B says, seriously, JP, that outfit who cited your name in the article, that thing must be run out of a garage. The website looks like it's from 1995. Well, that's one of the places that his column is carried on Sports Talk Florida, and you are correct. That is a garbage website. but he is a syndicated reporter, Jim Williams, who puts that on. So his work is also in Forbes. There's a whole bunch of other places, national places where his column is seen. So it's not just Sports Talk Florida. So yes, you're right. That is a garbage website because it's run by a garbage company, run by a garbage dude, complete garbage dude who I used to work with, complete scumbag.
So I don't know anything about Sports Talk Florida, but I'm going to disagree. I think their website looks really good.
Do you? Don't say that because I hate that guy.
No, I don't know about the guy. I'm just saying I like the website's very simple. Like it's
the first time I agreed with B. The website does suck. The writer is highly credible.
I think it's kind of good. I mean,
but you got to understand, B, that people aggregate content on other sites, so it's not. He doesn't just write for that particular place. He writes for a lot of different folks. So, and if you'd like to see Jim Williams' credentials, I can certainly present them to you. As I said, I think he's won 7 Emmy Awards, 35 years at ESPN, 50 years in the business at the highest level. Now a national columnist. I think he's credible. Huh. So don't just go by the website where you read it at. Think a little bit deeper. Be a little bit. I know you're capable of it. I think. Not sure, but maybe. Douglas Batista says, also raised on the field too early to say if they are back on track. They were 3 feet from a Fairbanks implosion on Saturday night and a series loss. True, but they were also, pretty close to a sweep as well. So now listen, I don't think there's a slam dunk answer anyway at this point, whether they're sellers or buyers. But I do think these next 9 games are key, especially if I think this White Sox series is key. You got to take care of business here. You got to take care of business. Sweep them. 2 of 3 is going to be actually a little bit of a disappointment. If you are who we think you are, go out and sweep them and then go on the road. So, yeah. All right, so the breaking news. So there have been press inquiries by the Times and others about this new site near Tropicana Field, St. Petersburg, where there's a new restaurant going in. So there's a lot of inquiries about this. The Times wants to know. Creative Loafing wants to know. A lot of people want to know. So we're going to scoop the Times again and break the news. Going out right in next to Red Mesa in St. Petersburg. Drum roll, please. Riveters, St. Pete. Yes, Riveters is going to have another location in downtown St. Petersburg. Yes, everybody's going to love it. Yes, the best chicken wings, the best prime rib tacos, the best prime rib sandwich, best prime rib dinner on the weekends, the best happy hour, best fresh food, all that stuff, the best staff. Another Riveters going in St. Petersburg. Very much looking forward to that. So we breaking news today. Riveters Tampa will now be Riveters St. Pete. So I was talking to Andres, the manager, one of the owners, and they're very excited about. And you know what else we talked about is, and he obviously very well-versed in St. Pete politics and other, speaking to other business owners. The other business owners in the area are thrilled that they're not building a baseball stadium there. Thrilled. Now, I know Fergs is not thrilled. And obviously Mark Ferguson there, good dude, known him for a long time. They made a lot of money off the Rays being next door, and I get that. But they're still doing well because he runs a great business and people love him. So they're still doing well, maybe not as well, but still doing well. And all the other businesses in downtown St. Pete are like, man, yes, convention center would be awesome. Just what they can build there that'll bring, an amphitheater down by the water. That's probably going to where Al Lang is, where the Rowdies play. That's probably coming. All these things, the consensus is from the business people in St. Pete, we don't need baseball. And we certainly don't need $2.4 billion coming out of the coffers of St. Pete to pay for baseball. We don't need that. So I think almost universally, the businesses are very pleased that the Rays will not be building a stadium in St. Pete. So another little breaking news there for you for the Times.
Nice.
Yeah. So Riveters going in there right next to Red Mesa in downtown St. Pete. Lee Bomar of the Jacksonville Devil Rays says, per my insider, new ownership is interested in building stadium in Jacksonville. We'll use Jag Stadium as multi-use stadium temporarily. Plan on using swimming pools to house the Stingrays. Thank you, Lee. And there's probably some people who are like, oh, wow, that sounds great. That's really happening? No, it's not. Michael LaRue says, I'm good with the 12 to 2 show if it allows you the opportunity to bring better content and conversation. Thank you, Michael, because last year we did it on site, and I would leave practice 9:45, so I missed the last 45 minutes of practice, which was a lot of the teamwork that we get to see, like real football. So I was missing out on a lot of stuff, plus the post-game interview, post-practice interviews. So now we can get the interviews, bring those to you, and give you and watch all of practice, so I won't be missing anything. So I think you guys are down with that, right? You can always, and of course, that's what's great about this show. You can always listen to it as a podcast or go watch it on YouTube, go watch it on Twitter, watch it on Facebook, go to the website, all that stuff. Thomas Casper says, state of Florida can spend on infrastructure like roads, rerouting, and channel restoration expansion, including the cruise port. Yes, this is a big deal, folks. If they choose Ybor Harbor, a lot of the prep work for the site can be done with state funds. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So, I mean, it doesn't matter whether the money goes into, a party deck or prepping the land and the harbor for the stadium. That's all money that the ownership group doesn't have to pay for, that the state will pay for. So, I like that very much. What else we got here? All right, we'll get back to the comments here in a little bit. I want to get to some of the other subjects. We're going to do the Bucs stuff in the 11 o'clock hour. So, Scottie Scheffler. Tim, I know you wanted to share some thoughts on Scottie Scheffler, and I teased this that he's not the next Tiger Woods, because the numbers really are pretty astounding, to be quite honest, in what he accomplished yesterday. One of only 4 players to win the Open, the Masters, and a PGA before the age of 30. He's the second reigning world number 1 to win the Open, joining Woods, who did it 3 times. He's also the second to win multiple majors in the same season, while ranked as the best in the world, joining Woods. Scheffler is the 7th player to win the Open and PGA in the same season, doing so 1 year after Ryder Cup teammate Xander Schauffele did it. What else? Scheffler has won each of his 4 major titles by at least 3 strokes. The only player in the modern era to accomplish that feat. That's important. Last man to win his 4 majors by at least 3 shots was John Henry Taylor, who was born in 1871. Since the first Masters was held in 1934, Scheffler is one of 3 players to win 4 or more major titles by at least 3 strokes. The others are Woods 7 times and Nicklaus 6. So the question is Scottie Scheffler the next Tiger Woods? Can Scottie Scheffler get to 15 major wins? I don't think so. And a lot of it, I think, has to do with what he said last week, that golf is third on his list. It's faith, family, and then golf. I think in the modern era, if you're not practicing 8 to 12 hours a day, which he's not going to be doing, because you could see how devoted he is to his family. He brings them everywhere. The little runt was on the green yesterday.
By the way, that
playing with the trophy
out of me.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's lovely.
No, I freaking hate that.
So yeah, and listen, and Jack said this about Tiger. It's like, once you get kids and family, or just kids, it's a totally different deal, because you want to spend more time with them, and you can't be singularly focused on golf like your competitors are. And you could just see it in Scheffler. Now, listen, I'm not saying he's going to fall off the rails in a year, but I think as we go through the next 2 or 3 years, I mean, to get to 15 majors is a Herculean task. and he's almost 30 years old, and he has 4. So I don't think there's any way he gets to 15. I think he could probably get to double digits, 11 or 12, which will be one hell of a career, obviously. But I don't think he's going to get to 15. He's got no shot to get the Jack's 18. That's never going to happen. So I think what we're witnessing right now from Scottie Scheffler is the best that we'll ever see from Scottie Scheffler. I don't think, I think he probably has another 2-year run in him. But after that, he's probably going to have more kids, and it's just going to take up more time, and it's not going to be his singular focus. I think in the short term, it kind of helps him because it takes the pressure off. We talked about this last week, that it's, some of these other guys, this is their whole life. It's everything to them. And the fear of failure is constricting, and I think it hurts them. I think you've seen that to some degree with Rory. The pressure gets to him too much, and it doesn't allow you to play free. Whereas with Scheffler, it's like, I could care less if I win or not, but I'm probably going to win because I'm so freaking good. And yesterday was it boring? Yeah, it was going to be boring. And there was no way Scottie Scheffler was going to blow a 4-stroke lead. Not with the weather like it was yesterday. If there was going to be wind blowing and rain, there was a chance, right? Because then you get some bad breaks. It can go against you. But with that weather, as soon as I saw the weather like that, I was like, it's over. It's over. And
his biggest competitor Sunday was Rory, who had a shot, I think, at catching him. But when Rory double bogeyed, I forget what number it was.
10.
That sunk it. That sunk it.
Yeah.
So my take on Scottie. First of all, I agree with you, JP. I don't think he's going to come close to Jack's majors, to Tiger's majors. And it's for the same reason that you just said. I don't think Scottie loves golf. I think he enjoys it. And I think, like a lot of pros, he loves his job. It's his job, but you love it. You almost have to love it to be good at it, right? Because of the practice time involved. But like you said, it's third, like at best, it's third on his priority list in life. I think we got maybe 3 to 5 years left of Scottie Scheffler professional golf. I think he's out. I think he is out at a young age due to retirement. Because again, it's not the most important thing to him. You heard him say it. We've heard him say it numerous times, and he said it again in the post-tournament press conference yesterday. He's not motivated and driven by numbers, by wins, by trophies. And I believe him. A lot of times I don't believe when a guy says that. With Scottie, I believe it. I think it's true. I don't think he gives a crap about that stuff other than it proves that he's good at what he does. But the history, the totals, the comparisons to Jack and Tiger, I don't think any of that matters to him. And he's going to have more money. He already has more money than he will ever need for the rest of his life. He's not going to be driven by money. And I think we've got maybe 5 years left of Scottie Scheffler on the PGA Tour. And then I think he's out. I think he's one of these guys that retires early. And we don't have to have the discussion, is he best? Now, the discussion of, is he the second best player ever? Because obviously Tiger's number one on that list for everybody. And if he's not, you're an idiot. I think the only other person right now that you could throw that in there is maybe Phil. And trust me, I hate Phil. I have no love lost for Phil Mickelson. And I wanted to throw this up there, JP, because show you what an idiot Phil is, or can be. This was Phil back in March. Here's a hot take. Does Scottie win in 2025 before the Ryder Cup? I don't think so. That was Phil Mickelson on Twitter. He said that publicly.
And that was pre-Masters.
Yes. Oh, yeah, this was in March. This was the March 16th was this posting on X. All right. Now, look, those of you that know me know that I said the same damn thing before the season started. I said, I don't think Scottie wins in 2025 at all. Here's the difference between me saying that and Phil saying that. Phil's considered a legend of the game, and he's considered to be pretty knowledgeable in golf. I'm not. I'm granted, I'm considered to be an idiot, okay? Especially a sports take idiot. So it's okay for me to say that and be wrong. For Phil to come out and say this, I think shows his lack of respect for Scottie.
Oh, yeah.
And his lack of maybe knowledge of the game now that's clearly passed him by. But
well, how would he know? He plays on the Carnival Tour.
Exactly.
So how would he even know what Scottie's up to? I mean,
can't stand that idiot. But look, I hate that I even had to bring his name up on the show. But I think when you're talking about,
it's interesting. It's interesting that and I don't. To me, that's just sour grapes. Maybe Scottie said something to Phil, or that just because there's no credibility to that take whatsoever. I mean, what is that based on? I mean, why would he even say that? I think watching Scottie play is, especially in those moments, and I think yesterday you can kind of get sucked into, oh, it wasn't dramatic, it's boring. Watching him play is boring. That's his greatness. These other guys are great golfers. They're so good at what they do. They can't beat him and he makes it look so freaking easy because he's rarely in trouble. And now he's gone from 174th. I read this about his putting. This is listen to this. So in just 2 seasons, this is from The Athletic, Scheffler ranked outside the top 150 in strokes gained putting on the PGA Tour. In an attempt to straighten out the only weak link in his on-course repertoire, Scheffler started working with renowned putting instructor Phil Kenyon shortly before the Ryder Cup began in Rome. The 2 years since have seen Scheffler's putting numbers steadily ladder upward, culminating in arguably the best week of his professional career on the green. Scheffler's strokes gained putting ranked climbed 77th last season and into the top 25 this week. Well, what Scheffler did at Royal Portrush was truly staggering. More than 8 strokes gained putting. That was second in the field, highlighted by making 13 putts of 10 feet or longer. On the PGA Tour this season, players making putts from 5 to 10 feet at a clip of 56%. Scheffler was 11 for 14 for the week, 79% from that range. So, I mean, most golf instructors, golf people will tell you that putting is a talent. It's a talent. It's really hard to go from 150th to top 25 in putting. Like,
especially that fast.
It's almost impossible. So this guy, I mean, he's a savant. And he was so good on the greens. And he makes it look so freaking easy. By the way, does that surprise you that pros from 5 to 10 feet only make half of them? Does that surprise you? I think that would surprise most golfers. That players make putts from 5 to 10 feet at a 56% clip on the PGA Tour.
So on the surface, I would say, yes, that number looks surprising. But when you put it in perspective, how many putts do they try that are within 5 feet? Like the majority of their putts are within 5 feet. So when you look at it in that, like they're making 56% of those. So yeah, on the outside, it looks like a surprising number, but when you put it into perspective about like how many of those putts they're doing every year,
it's percent, but that's percentage. That has nothing to do with the total number.
Right.
5 to 10 feet, 56%. The next time you miss like a 6 or 7 footer and you think, oh my God, I suck. You don't. Pros miss those half the time as well.
Almost half the time. I just think,
I think people would probably think, 5 to 10 feet, pros make 90%. Like, no, not even close. Not even close. Golf is hard.
The whole thing that's surprising about Scottie's win at the British Open, I want to get into that here in a second too, is he doesn't normally play well over there, especially on links courses. And it's been because of his putting. But like you said, his putting has come a long way. His past British Opens, they didn't have one in 2020 because of the coronavirus. He finished T8 in 2021, T21 in 2022, T23 in 2023. Last year, he tied for 7th, so he's got 2 top 10s in 4 tries before going in this year. And if you listen to our From the Rough British Open preview on Wednesday, Me and Johnny both said don't look for Scottie to play well because if it's of his putting, it's because of his putting, and it's because he just historically doesn't play well overseas. And here we are. And that just proves of his greatness. Like, that's a testimony to his greatness, that he can come from nowhere. And when Friday came along, and I saw the move that he made on Friday, and especially the move he made on Saturday, that's why it's called moving day.
Where you want
it? I was like, crap, just look out. And the column that I wrote at fanstreamsports.com about how great Scottie is, it had many of those statistics that you just threw out at the onset, JP. As I'm writing this and putting these numbers together, I'm just like, man, if he did this for another 20 years, like, can you imagine? He's 29, right? He just turned 29 in June. If he did this for another 15 years, just think about the mind-boggling numbers we could have. But again, I don't think that matters to him, and I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's out in about 5 years.
Yeah. Or sooner. Yeah.
Or sooner.
And I don't think he'll play as well just because of the commitment it takes. And clearly he wants to spend more time with his family, which is fine.
Look at what having kids has done to Jordan Spieth's golf game. He's not even relevant anymore when he started having kids. Yeah. That's how most players go.
Yeah. It's a totally different life.
JP, do you want me to tell you now or after the break why we're dumb to call it the British Open?
Let's do it after the break. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. And it's still July. That means they're still paying the most for gold because gold is going through the roof. So with gold at an all-time high, get your old gold jewelry, bring it down to the Gold and Diamond Source, and let them pay you cold, hard cash for your doubloons and any of your gold coins that you've rescued from the bottom of Davy Jones' locker. Head on over there, just about 15, 20 minutes from downtown Tampa, just over the bridge. They have a beautiful men's section there where you can buy some great baller watches, new or gently used. They've got obviously a great engagement ring section there with the best staff, and make sure you get a real diamond, not a fake one. You don't want to start your lifelong dream relationship with a fake diamond. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Overton Road, and always online at goldendiamond.com. Back in 3.
Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. And you know I'm always trying to find ways to save you money or make you money. Well, here's a great idea from Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source. Gold is at an all-time high, so if you bring in your old jewelry, Steve and Julie will buy it off you and offer you the highest trade-in values of the year. It's the perfect time to upgrade what you're not wearing into something you'll never want to take off. So take advantage of that right now. The custom engagement rings to birthstones, tennis bracelets, diamond studs, whatever's on your wish list, the Gold and Diamond Source can make it happen. And did you know they also have the largest selection of any men's jewelry in the area? A great new section there. Check that out. They have free services like free settings, free cleanings, free appraisals, all that stuff right there at the Gold and Diamond Source. Family owned and trusted for over 40 years. Great folks over there. We love promoting these great local companies. None better than the Gold and Diamond Source. 3800 Overton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Summer is coming. Do not get caught with your unit unprepared. Your AC unit, of course. The awesome folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC have a special going on right now. You get a free 1-year maintenance package with any purchase of a new unit. They have special 60-month financing as well, so you don't need a huge chunk up front. Third Generation has an impeccable reputation built over 30 years of doing business. They do plumbing, AC, mechanical work, anything you need around the house. They are trusted folks. Go to the website and read the 5-star reviews. Deidre said, great company that always arrives timely. We have used them for our AC both at home and business and have been very happy. The staff is knowledgeable and professional. I would recommend Third Generation again and again. So give Third Generation a call at 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Don't do all the work yourself. Don't call the 1-800 numbers. Get the runaround. Just call Italiano Insurance. Ask for Charity. She's awesome. She always takes care of us. Whether it's auto insurance, homeowners insurance, they will make sure that the homeowners insurance company that you're with will pay when you need them to pay, because as we found out, a lot of them don't like to pay. And also make sure that you have enough insurance. Make sure you have flood insurance. You must have it. Even if your mortgage doesn't comply, make you get it, you still need it, as we've seen with the last few hurricane seasons. So ItalianoInsurance.com has all the answers for you. They'll save you thousands of dollars. They do all the work. You save all the money. ItalianoInsurance.com, 813-877-7799. All right, before you tell us why it shouldn't be called the
British Open.
We want to say Paul Stewart, his pick of Harris English, who finished second.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
How about that?
Too shabby. It's not going to be a greatness of Scottie Scheffler. He would have been right. Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah,
well done.
All right, JP, let's get to it. I have been the biggest culprit of this, as many of us are, calling the Open Championship the British Open. And the reason this sounds now, I believe, unintelligent and misinformed and just makes us sound stupid for saying it.
Mm-hmm.
The number one reason why it should not be called the British Open is, first and foremost, it's not. It's not a British Open. It's not played in Britain every year. Northern Ireland is not part of Great Britain.
Well, actually, it is.
It's not. It's not. It's part of the United Kingdom. It's not part of Great Britain.
Isn't that the same thing?
No. You know what? I used to think that too. I had no idea what the difference between England, the UK, and Great Britain was. They are all three different things.
What does Great Britain consist of?
Great Britain only consists of
England and Scotland?
England, Scotland, and Wales.
And Wales. All right, yeah.
The United Kingdom is England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
Oh, okay. All
so,
right.
for instance, every time Northern Ireland hosts an Open Championship,
right,
it's not the British Open. That's like if we played the U.S. Open in Mexico City.
Yeah, that's not
call it the U.S. And here's the other thing. I did a little history. Look, we all know the Open Championship is the oldest golf tournament in the world, right? 1860.
Right.
The reason it's called the Open Championship is because it is literally open to anyone who can, especially back then, who qualified for it, right? It was open to anybody. So therefore, it was called the Open Championship. It was the first Open. So it named itself that. The champion golfer of the year, back then, that's what it was, because it was the only champion golfer of the year. They didn't have all these billion tournaments every year in every golf league. So it was all true. It was all accurate, right? Well, you just carry that out throughout history, right?
Right.
The British Open, you think, would be played in Great Britain, right? It would have to be played in England, Scotland, or Wales to be the British Open. But if you want to call it the UK Open when it's in Northern Ireland, then fine, do that. But look, it's not in Northern Ireland very often. There was a 68-year drought,
right? Yeah.
What's that?
It's only been played 3 times at Royal Port Rush, right?
Well, yeah, Royal Port Rush,
2019, and this year.
Right, but there are other courses in Northern Ireland that have hosted it, though. Not just Royal Port Rush. Royal Port Rush. I have a hard time with that word.
Royal County Down?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'd have to go look. I'm just saying the purpose of this rant, and again, I'm going to say all of this. I'm still calling it the British Open. I just wanted to throw this out there, why we all sound stupid as Americans to call it the British Open when it's not. It's not the British Open. It truly is the Open Championship. And there's a reason for it. And it's a very historic reason in the game of golf. Arnold Palmer called it the British Open in his autobiography. And you know what? The RNA gave him a phone call. And they said, look, Arnie, we know who you are. We know what you mean to golf. But could you change that in your autobiography? And he did. Like, there are copies out there that still call it the British Open, but in subsequent copies after that phone call that were printed and in further editions, it was changed to the Open Championship.
See, I grew up calling it the British Open.
I know, me too.
It was always the British Open because we
And
had an Open here. You know,
I'm not going to
Australia
stop.
has an Open.
Yeah.
Everybody has an Open.
Yeah.
So you got to differentiate whose Open it is.
It was the first.
Yeah. Okay.
And I feel like it's earned the right to refer to itself as the Open, because I always fought it. I'm like, why does it call itself that? That's stupid. But it's not. It's accurate. So again, I'm going to still call it the British Open out of habit. But now I understand, Paul Stewart, why y'all do that, why other people do that, and they're more accurate than me. I've never been the most accurate sports reporter in the whole world. We all know that. But especially in broadcasting. But I get it. I get it, and I still think we all sound stupid now when we call it the British Open, but I'm still going to do it.
I think either one gets the job done.
Sure.
Either one gets the job done, and I think that's what's important.
Anyway,
right,
that's my rant.
So we move on. I'm going to get back to comments at the end of the show. We got a lot of comments coming in, so I want to get to them all. But I also want to get to our Bucs training camp preview, which rookies begin reporting today, I believe. And then Wednesday, training camp opens. And then we will be moving our show from 10 to 12, the live portion of the show, from 10 to 12 to noon to 2 o'clock, so we can get out there and watch practice and bring all the information back to you fine folks here. So here, as we start our offensive preview, we're going to go position by position, kind of, what the depth chart looks like. Are there any camp battles going on? What's, what happens if this guy goes down? So you give you kind of a feel for what we're going to be looking for in training camp. So obviously, starting at the quarterback position, there is no controversy here going on, except the fact, is Kyle Trask good enough to be a backup quarterback for a team that's this good with a chance to win a Super Bowl? I've talked about this in the offseason, and the quick answer to that is we don't know. We don't know. And the fact that we don't know means, I think, if there's, I think there are very few things you can criticize this with Jason Light and his team for in terms of the roster. And, this is really kind of nitpicking. And certainly they know a lot more about Kyle Trask than I do. But from what I've seen in practice and in the preseasons, there are times when Kyle's looked pretty good. But I haven't seen him grow as a quarterback. I really haven't. I haven't seen him get better year after year after year. And, everybody knows Kyle's a gamer, right? He's never been a great practice player. And when he gets into games, obviously at Florida, he was fantastic. He was amazing. The numbers are off the charts. But what I've seen as far as an NFL player, and we haven't seen much, they haven't really developed him, haven't had a real opportunity to do so, but he couldn't beat out Baker Mayfield. They went out and got Michael Pratt, who's number 3 on the depth chart. They like Michael Pratt. I'm just not sure how they say they're confident in him. I don't know how confident they are, but I think I did ask Todd Bowles this at OTAs, and, he said, he's got to take care of the ball, cut down on the interceptions in practice, and he's got to show him something. He basically said that, I want to see something in preseason. I don't think it's out of the realm that if there's a veteran quarterback that's made available, that the Bucs might go get him. I don't think that's completely out of the realm. What are your thoughts, Tim?
Man, I don't know. There's so many storylines, and it's odd because this was such a solid team last year. I just think there are so many storylines, particularly on the offense, to pay attention to, and you don't expect that when you've got a roster that you think is solid and set, right? You think that these guys are just that the starters are the starters, and most of the action you're going to have in training camp and most of the question marks are in the depth area. But I don't think that's the case this year, man. I know we've got, particularly the offense, they returned all 11 starters. No other team did that in the league. But especially at quarterback, if you haven't seen, after how many years Kyle Trask has been here? How many years? 4 years? 5 years?
5 years. It says
5 years,
year, I believe. Yeah,
5 years. If you haven't seen anything from Kyle Trask in 4 years, you're not going to see it. Like you said, we don't have an answer, but we do. But again, the other side of that coin is he hasn't played. He hasn't had to play. He played behind Brady, who never got hurt, and now he's playing behind Mayfield, who never gets hurt, which is great. But it's going to happen eventually. And I feel like you need to be sure.
Especially the way Baker plays.
Right. You need to be, and I know Josh Grizzard has said we're going to try to limit his running this year, and it's because of that. They don't want him to get hurt. But, dude, it's Baker Mayfield. His first reaction is to run. And you can't put a leash on him. You have to let him do that. But you need to be sure that you've got a guy behind him that can take you for 3 games, 4 games in the middle of the season, especially during a division stretch. And I feel like with Kyle Trask right now, the fact that you don't know means that you don't know. Means that you know that you don't have that guy.
It was like a third day of OTAs, and Baker was sitting out, and Trask was running with the ones, and I think there was a reason for that. They're running red zone, and there's a couple plays where he missed wide open guys, and I mean wide open. They were in the red zone. You're open by 1.5 yards. You're wide open. Yeah, and he just missed them.
Right,
and you just can't have that. You just can't. And a guy at his level right now in practice with a guy that's open like that, and you're just missing him, and you're not under heavy pressure, that's just not good enough. It's not good enough. And I know it's only 2 plays, but you see it, and then he'll make a couple of great throws. You're like, in that same practice, he made a couple of great throws. You just go, wow, that's a great throw. But it's like you're an NFL player, man. You need to make those throws to be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Especially in practice. It's practice. Yeah. What you can't do is miss wide open guys in the end zone, in a red zone drill. And I don't know. I would think, and it's great that we're nitpicking about the backup quarterback, because this tells us Baker Mayfield's a star. He's a top 10 quarterback in this league, and you see all the new lists that are coming out. And I think they most credible people have acknowledged that Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback in this league. And like I say it all the time, is he good enough to get you to a Super Bowl? I believe he is, because he has a couple of qualities. Number one, he's good in the clutch. He's really, really good in the clutch. 2-minute drill, being able to make throws off schedule, runs off schedule, big plays off schedule. The team believes if they're down in a 2-minute situation, Baker Mayfield can bring them back. And that's an absolute essential quality that you have to have if you're a team that's going to win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. So he's got that. He's a leader of unquestioned proportion. These guys run through a wall for him. And he's clearly got the arms and the athletic ability to make it happen. And his numbers were off the charts last year. 71% completion, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns. I think only 4 other quarterbacks in the history of the league have those numbers. So the dude has got everything. Your starting quarterback is the guy. To me, if you're looking at the quarterback position, the only thing I want to see in training camp is Kyle Trask be better. Be better. Give us some confidence that if it comes down to 3 or 4 games Baker's going to miss, that you're going to be able to step up and do it. And at this point, I'm iffy at best. All right, the running back room, again, Bucky Irving, an emerging star, I think going to be better in his second year than he was in his first. I asked him about this at OTAs, about this offseason, not having to get ready for the draft, moving to a new team, moving across the country, all that stuff. And he's like, yeah, man, it's totally different. I've been able to concentrate on nothing but football, get my body better, get my mind right. So I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. Second year in the offense, behind the same offensive line, same quarterback. I think Bucky's just scratching the surface. I think he could get 2,000 scrimmage yards and make it look easy. So you got a great number one in Bucky Irving. I think one of the top 5 backs in the league. And you got one of the best backups in Rachaad White, who's a tremendous blocker in terms of pass protection, tremendous out of the backfield and catching the football. And he's a damn good runner in short yardage as well. So I think you've got a great 1-2 punch. And Sean Tucker, how many teams in this league have a third-team running back that was the offensive player of the week last year? I'd venture to say none. So if one of these other guys goes down, Sean Tucker is more than ready to take over. So again, the running back room, to me, as good as any in football, which moves us. Your thoughts on that, Timmy?
No, I agree 100%. Bucky is clearly your number one guy. He took over that role, I guess not technically, but he did by carries and playing time about halfway through last season. Nothing against Rachaad White. Rachaad White's still a valuable member of this team. He's a better blocker than Bucky is right now, which is going to be huge at the beginning of the season with Wirfs out. We've talked about that before, which may skew the playing time for the 2 backs, and who's getting the majority carries to start the season. I don't think it matters who's 1 and who's 2. You use both of them. And then you use Sean Tucker when you want to, too. I think who's RB1 and who's RB2, I think that's a ridiculous conversation because it doesn't matter. They're a unit. You play them as a unit, and you play them when you think they're going to be better on the field. The fact that Bucky's your up-and-comer, and he's, man, I don't know how he didn't get more consideration for Rookie of the Year last year, to be quite honest with you, more of a sense in what he meant to the team. But when you look at that, he's got a chance to have a second straight 1,000-yard season. And when was the last time a Bucs running back had 2 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons? I know Scott Reynolds has talked about it. It's been a long time. Yeah. So, he's going to be an integral part of the offense, and he should be.
Yeah, running back, they're in really, really good shape. And DJ Williams has shown some stuff as well. They've got some depth there.
Yeah.
All right, so wide receiver, obviously Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Ibuka are your starters. Does Godwin start the season? Consensus is probably not, but again, we don't know. We just don't know. It's still what, 6 weeks? Let's see, probably more than that. 7 to 8 weeks before the season starts. So, I don't, and we haven't seen Chris Godwin. We haven't talked to him, so we have no idea where he is in his rehab. But we know this: he's going to play at some point in this season. So I'm not too concerned about it. And the fact that you have Jalen McMillan had 8 touchdowns last year was tremendous at the second half of the season. Sterling Shepard still on the roster. I don't know if he makes the team. I think you're looking at Ibuka, Evans, Godwin, Jalen McMillan. Tez Johnson, I think, has already shown enough in camp that, our 7th round pick, that I think he's going to make the squad and maybe our primary kick returner. And I think Cam Johnson, who also does special teams, I think those are your guys right there, your 6. Rock Jarrett, Garrett Green, Ryan Miller, Trey Palmer, I think are there on the outside looking in. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. When you look at the wide receiver room here, beyond Evans and beyond Godwin, you don't have any seasoned veterans other than Shepard, right? Shepard's entering his 10th season. Evans, his 12th season. Godwin, his 9th season. The longest tenured receiver you have on the roster beyond those 3 is Raheem Jarrett, entering his 3rd season. And he's on the bubble. Cam Johnson's on the bubble. Tez Johnson, you feel good about making this team, I think. McMillan, obviously, entering his 3rd or entering his 2nd year. You got guys like Dennis Houston. I think this wide receiver room, even before getting into camp, is pretty much set, barring, knock on this thick table of wood here, an injury to one of these guys that will affect your depth. But I feel good about the wide receiver room going into it with Evans, with Godwin whenever he comes back. And if it takes 4 games for him to come back, then just let it be 4 games. Don't rush him back, because you're plenty deep behind him now that you've added Ibuka. Keep Shepard to start the season. Then you've got Johnson. You've got plenty of depth here with younger guys. I don't think you need to rush Godwin back, but I feel good about, just like I do the running back room, I feel really good about the wide receiver room, even with Godwin missing maybe some time to start the season.
Yeah, I think it's arguably the running back and the wide receiver rooms are the best in the NFL. Definitely top 3.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about that. And with a top 10 quarterback in Baker Mayfield, which as we'll finish up the skill positions and then take a break and come back and do the line. Tight end, look, I love Cade Otton, and I think we'll probably get a contract extension during training camp or shortly thereafter. He's improved in every level. Yards after the catch, he's doubled from his rookie season. He falls forward. He's moving the pile now. He's 100% better blocker than he was when he came in the league. He's really developed into, I think, top 7 tight end in this league.
Wow.
I think he's underrated, and I think he's only getting better. And he's got great rapport with Baker Mayfield going into their 3rd year together. So again, Cade Otton, I think, is a valuable member of this group. And I love the strides that Payne Durham made last year. Caught a couple of touchdown passes. They went to him in the red zone. He's become a much better blocker than he was. Both of these guys, I think, developed tremendously over the last year. So I think they're really good at tight end. And they got O'Keefe, who's not much of a pass catcher, but is kind of like an extra offensive lineman when you need him. And Devin Culp, I think, is he showed at the end of last year that he's got great hands. They trusted him in some big situations last year on 3rd downs, and I think he's just tapping into his talent as well. I think he's one of the best route runners, the tight ends that we have. So I think, again, tight end position really, really solid, and they got really good depth there. Your thoughts?
I will disagree with you. Of all the skill positions, of all the units, I think this is the biggest question mark coming into it. I am not as high on Cade Otton as you are. I do agree that he's improved, but I think he's got a lot more room to improve. Sometimes I think the drops are a little overblown, but they're still there. He does get a taste of the dropsies every now and then key parts of the game. I think this team would be better if Devin Culp or Payne Durham could improve to the point that they're your first tight end. I think they have a higher ceiling, both of them, than Cade Otton does. And I believe those are your two candidates to supplant Otton someday as the starter. You've got the Illinois State guy, Taula, who's by far the biggest guy on the field in terms of tight end, but he's not going to make the team. He's not that skilled of a player yet. I really like Devin Culp, and I really, really wish we could see more of him on the field. I know with Cade Otton being who he is, it's going to take an injury probably for that to happen to see Durham or Culp in bigger chunks of games. And I don't want to see that, obviously. To me, this is the biggest question mark coming into training camp.
I think if Otton went down, there'd be a drop off from Cade Otton, but I think they'd be in good hands with Payne Durham and Devin Culp. I think Culp's the better receiver of the group, but I think they'd be fine. I think their depth is good. There's some other teams that have better 1-2 tandems, I think, without question.
Baltimore Ravens, oh my God.
Absolutely. So, but yeah. I think where the Bucs are and their dependence on they go three wide so often. I think they'll be a little bit more 12 personnel. I don't think there's any question about that this year, but I think they're really good where they're at right now in all those skill positions. So.
Yeah, what I would really love to see is the same situation you have in Baltimore right now, where you've got your set number one, your legend guy in Mark Andrews, but you've got the up-and-comer young guy, Isaiah Likely, who's really right good. Now he's already better than Mark Andrews, and he could be a starter on any team in the league and be they were out of I forgot who it was, did the top 10 tight ends in the league. Both of those guys were on that top 10. I think it was NFL.com. Both of their tight ends are on the top 10 list.
But they use that 12 personnel.
They do.
Almost that's their starting.
Yeah,
we're a three wide team, and they love the two tight ends.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll take another break. We'll come back on the other side, finish up the offense, and also get in the rest of your comments. Got some good stuff coming in. We're brought to you by Third Generation Plumbing. If you have any issues in the plumbing or air conditioning venue, they are the folks to go to. Just go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. That is their website. Call them or email them, and they will come right over and take care of whatever issues you have. Great folks. You can trust them. That's Third Generation. John Rodriguez is the owner there. If you have any issues at all, give him a call. He will make it right. And that's all you want from an AC and a plumbing company, right? You just want an honest day's work at a good price. That's what you're going to get from thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Tell them JP sent you. Back at 3. Stay with us.
JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans at huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com. Are you having legal issues with a business partner or other legal business issues? The attorneys at Walters, Levine & DeGrave can help. Call 800-616-0384 for a free consultation. At Walters, Levine & DeGrave, we've redefined what a law firm can be with top-tier attorneys, personal service, and 26 years of success. From business law to civil litigation, we deliver smart, client-focused solutions. Walters, Levine & DeGrave recently won a $6.4 million jury verdict from a large real estate developer, and they can win for you too. Walters, Levine & DeGrave. Let's solve it together. Not attorney spokesman. For a free consultation, call 800-616-0384 or go to walterslevine.com. Offices Tampa, Sarasota.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by don'tgouncovered.com. If you do not have health insurance, well, do not go uncovered. That's going to be a problem. Go to don'tgouncovered.com, give them a call, let them know what your financial situation is, and they may be able to find you subsidies or other health insurance plans that might fit you better and be less costly. So let the experts do all the work. You do all the saving. It's don'tgouncovered.com. Please tell them you heard it on the JP Peterson Show. All right, finishing up our training camp preview of the Buccaneers offense Listen, we've talked a lot about Tristan Wirfs. He's going to be at some point ready to go for this season. They'll be able to coach around it for the first few games with Charlie Heck, and I would expect them to probably go sign a veteran tackle at some point during training camp. I think because they're not very deep. I mean, you start looking at this depth chart. Ben Chukwuma is the backup to Luke Gedeke. I mean, Charlie Heck can tackle on both sides. Chukwuma, who I think is going to be a good player, is not ready for the NFL right now. So I think it's almost a lock that they go sign a veteran tackle at some point. So, there's two starting tackles, Wirfs and Gedeke. Again, one of the best tandems in the league. Bredesen, was good enough to get a nice extension at I think $7 million a year. I thought he played very, very well last year. And, Graham Barton, I thought, had a hell of a rookie year. And I think he's just going to get better and be an eventual all-pro. I think this is one of the best offensive lines in football. I think by most PFF and most lists that I've seen, it's a top 5 offensive line. Cody Mock at right guard has been tremendous. And Elijah Klein could back up at guard and center. Jake Majors I'll be watching him in training camp as well. They like him. So I think they've got some depth here. Sua Opeta, who's still a bit injured, has starting experience in this league. So, I think this is about as good a group as you have in the NFL. Again, and this is why the Bucs are one of the better rosters, in my opinion, in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I like Graham Barton. Think it was the right pick. I don't think he had as good of a year. I'm not as high on his year as you are. I don't think he had a bad year. I think he had a rookie year. I think he made a lot of rookie mistakes. But that's to be expected with a rookie center in the NFL. I'm not saying that he played poorly. I just think he played like a rookie, and I expect that play to improve this season. And yeah, I do expect this to be when Wirfs comes back. I think this is one of, if not the best offensive line in football. Sorry, San Francisco 49ers. Sorry, Philadelphia Eagles. I do. I think it's one of the top three at least. The situation with Wirfs, of course, is the biggest storyline going into camp, especially on the offensive line. We talked about this when we broke the news, or when we discussed the news of Wirfs' injury, of his surgery, that there's a reason they have Heck. And I think that Charlie Heck will probably be a serviceable substitute for Wirfs for the first. If it has to be 4 games, then so be it. Chukwuma, I really like Benjamin Chukwuma, the Georgia State kid. He doesn't have a lot of football experience. He didn't really get a lot of playing time until 2023 at any level. But I think I like him as an undrafted free agent. I think Jason Light sees something in him, and I think he can be a contributor, backing up even Heck for certain situations early in the season. I think we're going to see Chukwuma getting a lot of work in training camp for that very reason, just because you have a lack of depth here. I've heard people talking about moving Luke Gedeke to tackle, about maybe Ben Bredesen switching sides. I don't like any of that. Don't take anybody out of their natural position of what they're used to playing.
No.
Just that way. But when you do that, you're like, now you got other spots that are weaker, right?
You hurt 2 positions. Yeah. If you move Gedeke from right to left, which clearly he did not play well on the left side as a left guard. Yep. It's like a totally different thing. So yeah, do not mess with Luke Gedeke. Just do what you got to do at left tackle, and I think they'll be fine. They'll be a little limited, but their offense is good enough to overcome that. I don't think there's any question about that.
And I think, and you said they may bring in another piece for depth, and I don't disagree with that. And I think that would be smart. And we know Jason Light's a smart GM, one of the best in the league. So whatever he feels is necessary to fill that position, I'm all for it. Look, I trust him, right? I trust in Jason. So whatever he thinks, whatever he sees going into camp and going into preseason. Now, the only time I will have an issue with this is if we go through camp and we don't like what we're seeing, we don't like what we're hearing from Heck, and then we go into the preseason and we still don't like what we're seeing from Heck, then I'll have an issue. But I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, well, I don't either. I think these coaches are good enough, and they know that, they wouldn't have let Schooley go if they thought he was that good. And they felt they could upgrade, and I think they have in Heck. So, all right. You wanted, before we get to comments, you had a couple thoughts on the WNBA All-Star game, which I'll admit I didn't watch a single bit of it.
So look, we all know my thoughts on the WNBA. I don't want to sound unintelligent like when I refer to it as the British Open. But look, I'm not a fan of the WNBA. I'm not a fan of, and this has nothing to do with women in sports. Look, I love the LPGA. As much as I like the PGA, I love watching the girls on the LPGA. I love women's tennis, maybe more than I love men's tennis. I do. Agreed. I don't know why. I think it's more exciting. I don't watch soccer, so I can't comment on women's soccer versus men's soccer. I know the women's national team are better than the men's national team around the world, so I know they have more success. I don't like a lot of the players, I'll be honest. However, I've never given 2 thoughts to the WNBA, and I still really don't. But you know what? Caitlin Clark, she brought all this to the forefront. I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. The Dallas Wings that we have is a WNBA team that I'll admit did not know existed until my friend J.C. Sheldon from Ohio State got drafted by the Dallas Wings. And I've done some work with just some backstory. I've done some work with the Ohio State women's basketball team in podcasting terms and stuff like that. So I got to know a bunch of those girls a couple of years ago. JC Sheldon was one of the coolest girls I've ever done a show with up at Ohio State. She got drafted by the Wings. So I'm aware of their existence. She was subsequently traded, so she's not here anymore. But Paige Beckers is a Dallas Wing. So now that Dallas kind of has, a little momentum here locally, right? With Beckers being here. But anyway, I don't watch the WNBA as a rule. However, I found out that they were having their all-star game, and Caitlin Clark is hurt, so she wasn't playing. But then I read some ways they're tricking some things up. Now, you throw out the normal 4-point circle. Now, that's not really new or groundbreaking, but it's interesting. Because
what's a 4-point circle? I don't even know what that is.
It's about, so it's literally an AT&T logo, the circle logo, that's, I think, 4 feet around, okay, on the court, from about 32 feet. And there's one on either side of like in between the 3-point line and half court, right? And it's on a little bit on the left and a little bit. It's not around to the sideline. It's just more of a straight on shot because all these girls love shooting from the sidelines. But it's a 4-point shot. If you're in the circle and you sink it, it's a 4-point shot. Sabrina Ionescu was like 5 for 5 from the 4-point circle. I mean, it was amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, okay.
But the biggest tricked up rule change they made for the WNBA All-Star game, hockey fans will love this. They had in-game line changes for the and it was only one. You could only do one player at a time, but you don't have to wait for a timeout to substitute a player. If your team has possession of the ball and you're on your end of the court, boom, you can swap a player out on the fly. And I thought that was really, really cool. And I was having a hard time, because of the TV angles and stuff. You don't always see what's going on everywhere. I was counting on the broadcasters and they were having a hard time keeping up with it too, I think, in the beginning. But, they had to come and report just like they always do at the scorers table. But then once they report, the referee will see them. And during the course of play, the referee will just wave them in. And another player's got to leave.
While they're bringing the ball up.
Yeah. So it was, and you had teams, one of the teams would try it like on a fast break. Like as you're running up the court, if your player was already ready to come in, as long as the player that was being substituted, because they had to be, it's just like hockey. You can't have both of them on the court at the same time. Right. They got to cross that end line or the sideline at the same time,
Right.
But dude, I'm telling you, it was kind of cool, man. I would love to see them do stuff look, and I hate all-star games. I think we all do, right? They don't try. But man, the WNBA made a really good effort to make this exciting or to make it watchable. And they sucked me in. I didn't watch the entire game, but I watched a good portion of it.
All right.
And then you have all this stuff with the WNBA and their fight for pay me what I'm owed thing. I don't want to get into that today because we don't have enough time. Yeah, we're going to talk about that probably tomorrow, Michael LaRue, because I want to go off on that a little bit, and we don't have time today. I get where they're coming from. I'm not sure they get where they're coming from, though, and that's all I'm going to say. We'll leave that for tomorrow.
Yeah, Michael says the WNBA All-Stars want to get paid more money. The WNBA has never turned a profit since its founding in 1997. The league lost an estimated $40 to $50 million last year in Caitlin Clark's first year. Now, they did get a new $2.2 billion TV contract that's coming in. Attendance is up 30-40%. So they are trending towards profitability. And if they get there, certainly the players should make more money. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get into that tomorrow. I have some deep thoughts on that.
Yeah, I want to get to some of these comments from today. James Rollerson says, look how other teams and other leagues are funding new stadiums. For example, MLS has been really good about creative funding for new stadiums. Yeah, their stadiums are great, and they fit perfectly for what they do. And a lot of them are – I went to the one in Nashville. They said it was built for about $300 million. It's fantastic. One in Orlando, same thing. They're great. They're fantastic. They're covered. They got great sight lines, the beautiful concourses with lots of points of sale and room, very comfortable seats, very well done.
Yeah, Dallas is looking at building a specific purpose-built arena for the Wings right now, which to me is just crazy. And they're looking at a downtown location to do it. You know, I mean, how many seats do you put in a purpose-built WNBA stadium? Like 10,000?
10,000. Yeah. 10,000. Okay. Like that's perfect.
And then when like Caitlin Clark comes to town, you go play it like you always do anyway at the AAC where the Mavs play. Like they're doing that anyway. So
that's fine. Yeah. Nathan Elliott says the Bucs are in a good place and they can let their big guns heal how they need to. Better to have Godwin and Wirfs later rather than sooner. The NFL season is a marathon, not a sprint. Absolutely. That's why when you have great depth, it's such an advantage. Daniel Rivera says, good morning, gentlemen. The HCC site per Wright's piece in the Times is intriguing. Talking about the Rays here. Also brought up the pros and cons of each of the 5 sites, right? 4 that we've already talked about. Yeah, the HCC site I think is out because of the Bucs. I don't think they want the Rays that close to them.
Yeah.
For whatever. And I don't know that for a fact. And I'm not saying anything bad about the Bucs. You know, I mean, just when you're running a business, I know they definitely don't want them on the same plot of land. So, but that's, to their, that's their prerogative as the big dog and the oldest in town.
Yep.
What else we got here? Paul Stewart said, I just checked my bottle of ketchup, 6 ingredients.
There you go. See, there's like 100 in America. Don't eat the ketchup, Paul, when you come to America. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, do not. And it's better. Like it tastes better over there too. Breaking news from Muslim Adam Sandler. Tampa Sports Celebrity Boxing Tournament announced. John Romano versus Chris Lotvala. Stu Sternberg versus Tanner Janot. Oh, we'd pay to see that. How about Stu Sternberg versus me? I mean, Tanner Janot would tune him up better, but I think I would be more fun. And Greg Schiano versus Barry Melrose. I'm sure about that one.
Oh.
But I'm definitely going Schiano.
Melrose is almost 70, man. I don't know how that would work out.
CJ Rhodes says, damn right, bring back Redskins. Finally a president with some balls and spine. Don't disagree with that, but I don't think he has to threaten, the new stadium to get to promote bringing back the Redskins. And I think, go ahead.
He's been a pretty successful businessman doing business like that. So while I don't agree, I agree with you. Like you don't have to always threaten people all the time, but it's worked out pretty well for him. So I kind of get it.
I mean, if you're doing tariffs and things like that, yes. But for a football stadium, come on. Michael LaRue says, other than the casino, there's nothing else to do around the fairgrounds. What, you don't like going to look at the horses and the pigs and everything around there? No housing, business, retail, restaurants, or entertainment. Here's the deal, Michael. If they build a baseball stadium, they're going to build all that around the stadium. They're going to have all that stuff. So it's not just going to be a baseball stadium. Will JP Peterson be at Buccaneer training camp on Friday? No. I'll be there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Ooh.
How do you think about that? Yeah.
Shefty.
CJ Rhodes says college football Florida teams preview coming to the show. You're damn right.
Mm-hmm.
As we get closer to those camps opening, we will have all of our usual subjects on. Pat Burnham for the FSU. And the rest of our guys that cover all the teams. So, yes, we'll be doing that. Absolutely. What else we got? Oh, Jeff Stutler says, took the wife to Riveters over the weekend. Best wings ever. Love the prices and the atmosphere. Great place, JP. GM Tim and JP, belated happy birthdays. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thomas Casper says, Trump should change Chamberlain High back to the Chiefs from the Storm. Yeah, all that silliness just needs to stop. That virtue.
You had a high school change their mascot over there? Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Douglas Batista says, was in St. Pete this morning, drove by the Trop. They are hanging blue netting on the roof just in time for hurricane season. Yeah, those are safety nets for the workers that are going to be putting up the roof that will be half installed when the hurricane comes by and rips the rest off.
They'll only waste half their work, not all of it, because it won't be done yet.
Jeff says, is the 12-2 just during training camp? Yes. Unless, of course, you guys would prefer 12-2. I know Tim would. We could change permanently if you like. I like you getting it earlier so more people have more time during the day to get the show. Yeah. That's kind of the way we do it, 10-12. But we're open. We're open to see what you guys like.
We don't have any suits to run that by. It's just us.
Yes, exactly. And you guys can make the decision. Janus says Bucs. I like Janus better. Bucs and Lightning play when you separate the names.
Yeah.
Bucs and Lightning play the Panthers and Dolphins the same weekend. Needs big group to go down. Bucs and Lightning play the Panthers and Dolphins the same weekend. Oh, I did not realize that. Oh, yeah. Maybe that could be a show trip. Can we do a show trip for that?
Are they both at home? Are the Bucs and Lightning both at home?
No, in Miami. In Miami.
In Miami. Okay.
And Sunrise.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I follow now. Yeah.
Sports Gimp Pat says, what's the issue with the West Shore site? The people in the West Shore site will never allow it. They do not want the baseball stadium there because you got a lot of big money people own very expensive homes in the West Shore area. That I think it would never happen. And the access there with the water, once again, you have water on one side, you're right next to the water.
Yeah.
It just, that limits a whole area which could be houses that would live next to the stadium, residential areas.
Yeah.
So if you're putting it in downtown Tampa, there's residential areas for miles and miles and miles. You have the one water on one side, but it's right next to downtown. So where all the people are. So, there's already a mixed use ready to go on that anyway, on that West Shore site. It's already been bought and planned, as far as I know. All right. Anything else on here we need to get to? I think that's about it. Paul Stewart says you're totally wrong about Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and he would know. So,
I'm absolutely correct. Tell me how I'm wrong, Paul. Text me. Text me and tell me how I'm wrong.
He's lived there his entire life. I'm going to trust him over you.
Clearly, he doesn't know what the difference between the UK, Great Britain, and England is, and I would expect him to know.
And I was right. It's only been held in Northern Ireland 3 times, all at Portrush. I was correct with that.
Then it's not the British Open. It's the Open.
Well, Mr. Smith has the answer to all of it. Just call it the JP Open. There we go. Done. Rick says, to be fair, Trask had 4 OCs in his pro career. No way anyone can succeed with that. Very good point, Rick.
Hey, what about Baker Mayfield? He's had 16 offensive coordinators in his pro career, and he's pretty good.
Yeah, Louis from the Frozen Pirate podcast says, Logan Hall, I believe, is going to have a better season than this year. Had 5.5 sacks last year. I think he improves on that, considering it could be a contract year for him. I totally agree. I love Logan Hall had a great year last year. I think he's going to have a better one this year. Nathan says Kyle Trask is going to excel with the Grizzard offense. You heard it here first. Okay. All right. Anything else?
How would we wait, Nathan? I'm just out of curiosity. How on earth would we know if Kyle Trask would excel in the Grizzard offense? He's never going to play.
Right.
How would we know? Just saying.
That's true. Alex Golesh. Here's one on Alex Golesh. Where would he be replaced? Where is it? Muslim Adam Sandler says if Alex Golesh gets fired, will USF look to replace him with Greg Schiano? God, I hope not. By the way, Golesh will be on our show Wednesday. Alex Golesh on the show on Wednesday.
Don't forget to tell him about the time change.
Yes. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Producing
on the air here.
Yep. All right. We're supposed to come on 11:30, so we might be able to work it out. We might start 11:30. What do you think about that?
All right.
We'll do a 2.5-hour show.
All right. It'll be the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this show is going to be 2.5 hours if I go through all these. All right. Thank you guys for commenting. Appreciate you as always. We love you people. Thank you for supporting all of our great advertisers as well. Don't forget to please like and subscribe on the YouTube channel and on our new Twitter at the JP Peterson Show.
Hey, super chats are on the way.
All right.
Turn in the application. We're right there, you guys.
Yes. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Holy moly.